We should get on with our chat with Andrew McDowall. He's our mate, of course. He's a sound genius as well. He's a pretty damn good runner. And he's finally gotten to run the Western States Endurance Run. When he first entered the lottery, and we had to do a bit of research on this, when he first entered the lottery, Gordy Ainsleigh was still in kindergarten.
Talk about postmodernism. He'd entered before the race even existed.
That's right. And on Saturday, Andrew will be towing the line. So if you don't know, Western States is probably the most storied and oldest 100-mile race, certainly in the US. Well, it's not the oldest race in the world. It's the oldest race, 100-mile race in the US. And if he didn't get the Gordy Ainsleigh gag, he was the first person to take part in what was then the Western States one-day ride, which was a horse race over the trail, and he did it without a horse, first person. Anyway, we caught. Oh, hang on, is this a fact check going on?
No.
It was a fact check face.
It was the Confederates Cup. Yeah, I think that was what it was called.
Right.
And his horse went lame, so he had a horse.
Yeah, and he walked.
The horse broke down.
Yeah, ran it. Yeah. Anyway, we didn't catch up with Gordy Ainsleigh. We didn't ask him about his kindergarten days, but we did catch up with Andrew McDowall before his departure to chat all about his preparations.
Yeah, so I've still got to put the rubbish out. I've still got to hang the washing up. This is the thing. Like a week like this, it's I'm sure you guys know. Like a week before you're going away, especially on like a big mission that's going to carry on, you suddenly everything needs to be done, and you keep thinking, I've got so much time, and you don't. It's like, what are we at? From today, it's 6 days to go till I jump on a plane, and the amount that I have to do, whether it's work or kids stuff or packing, I'm a shocker. Like I'm always packing my bag like an hour before the drive to the airport. I'm just so last minute, and then I sit in the airport and think of all the things I forgot because I wasn't organised.
Have you got a spreadsheet?
No, you see, that's when Emma was crewing me. She's amazing because she is like a spreadsheet queen. She just, everything's on a spreadsheet. So when we go away camping or whatever, she just pulls out the specific spreadsheet for that type of trip. And so when I was doing races and she was crewing, she had the spreadsheet for that. But of course, I did not have a spreadsheet. I don't even know how spreadsheet programs work.
Thank you, Andrew. Anyway, I've got two questions. One, in terms of and this is an important thing, going to Western States and all, Andrew McDowall, are you going to rock like the very on trend, and you have the body for it? Are you gonna crop?
I can assure you, I don't have the body for it.
You do. Are you going to do the Uric crop?
Look, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't think I am. It's not really crossed my mind. If you're going to do
now.
That, yeah, well, until now. But I'm dismissing it as quickly because, like, you got to be pretty fast if you're going to wear that. And that's not. Although I am going to wear my light peach coloured Pacer t-shirt from an Auckland Marathon a few years ago because it's like such a bright colour, and my theory is that the lighter the colour, the less hot. It's also really, really thin. We'll see. I don't know.
Do you know what also help with cooling? Cropping.
And putting holes in the shirt. Just cutting those little wind holes.
That's it. Speed holes.
Can you imagine what my like white pasty skin would look like after that? It would just have all these little red sort of ovals after the race.
You'd look like one of those old jesters with the diamonds.
Oh, beautiful, mate. Or be lying on a giant shark mat. Yeah. Is that how you say them? Anyway.
In all seriousness, I mean, look, this has been a hell of a journey for you. You're going to Western States. What's all the fuss about?
Well, I guess the fuss is before and during. There's two different types of fusses. Getting in is the first fuss. I suppose it's the old golden ticket, really. Like, I think that's what makes a lot of the race, the allure of the race these days, is just how hard it is to get in. And so you do feel very lucky. I mean, by the time I get to the start line, it would have been 9 years and 4 months from the first qualifying race. So just shy of a decade. I was 36 years old when I ran my qualifying race, and I'm 46 now, which is terrifying. So that, at 128 tickets, you still feel lucky. I mean, I was in Taipei when they did the draw last year with a bunch of other runners from around the world, and one of those other American runners, Jeff Urbanski, he also had 128 tickets and didn't get in. So, he'll be 256 tickets next year. That's 9 years. And he gets to pace it this year for his brother Matt Abansky, who came to New Zealand. So you probably know the fella.
Yeah, winner of the 100 mile.
Yeah. So I've actually beaten both of them now, both brothers. I've got lucky. They both had bad days. I'm not quicker than them, but so Matt's hoping to get one back on me, which I'm sure he will in a couple of weeks. Yeah, so which makes me I still feel fortunate, even though the odds were something like 70% or something. That's still plenty of opportunity to not get in. Years ago, getting into UTMB, the system was different, and they let you in on the third year, but on the second year, your odds were like 85%, and I still didn't get in. There were 8 Kiwis, 7 got in. It's like, come on, man. There's no point in me buying lotto tickets, man. It takes me forever. And it's the same, of course, with Hard Rock. That's about 8 years now. And I mean, that's so much harder to get into, but I will continue to try. So yes, that's a very long answer to some of the allure of it, is just how difficult it is to get in. I've got no idea what the course is like, but by all accounts, it's something very special. I really like how the race is only the 100-mile race. There's no 50K, there's no 100K, there's no half marathon. It's a very simple, pure, we're all doing the same event, which I really enjoy, because essentially you're all in this together. There's not someone racing off the front because they're only running a 10K or something like that. You can sort of get into your groove. But, and obviously the extremes, you start at 2,000 odd meters, you run up to nearly 3,000. You're in snow, although not much snow this year. It sounds like it's going to be really hot, and which, for the first few hours will be swifter than previous years. Thomas Watson ran it last year, and I think he said he did about 28 kilometers of snow, and people just slided all over the place, and it's really hard work. So I'm thankful to not have that, but the flip side is that means, of course, it's looking like mid-40s in the canyons. Auburn, which is the finish line, is hovering around 39 degrees at the moment, it looks like, on race day. So, I mean, I've been training in 5 degrees. There's not much you can do about it. I'm sitting in my studio right now with the heat cranked, like it's really hot in here. This is the best I can do. So, and I've got sort of 6 days over there to sort of get a little bit more heat acclimatization and do some, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 5Ks or something like that, just go exploring as an attempt to get used to it. So that's probably the other part of the race that is such an allure, is the history and the actual course itself and how interesting it's going to be. But I've not run a step of it, so I will be finding out, for myself.
So 9 years ago, you first had a crack.
Yeah.
But when was the first time you heard about it?
It's definitely good old Dean Karnazes. It's definitely his book. And that would have been like sort of 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. My brother-in-law actually got me a book called Extreme Running. And it had, it's actually not far away. It's somewhere. It's actually in here somewhere. And it had like this crazy race called the Kepler Challenge in it. And I thought, God, that looks interesting. And this was about 2010. I'd run like 1 or 2 marathons and they'd been awful. But I thought, I'm going to do that. That looks great. But it also had UTMB, but I didn't have Western States in it. So I didn't hear about it then. But that was definitely the sort of start of that journey. And then I think it was probably, whenever Karnazes' book, I think I was about 4 years late reading it, about 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. And of course, I remember that incredible graph. There's a picture in the book of the Boston Marathon course versus the Western States course. And the Boston they talk about Heartbreak Hill in Boston Marathon. And it's got this little sort of tiny bump on what looks like pretty much a flat line on the graph. And then you got Western States with these enormous ups and downs and all, constantly going down. And I mean, it looks, because of the elevation's higher, the plot chart is much higher. So it looks way more scary, but it's still like, you look at it and you go, wow. That looks impossible. I must try it. I must see what it's like. And I think when you first get that first race in, which took an extra year because bloody Tarawera was the cyclone year, so that didn't count as a qualifier. And then I DNF'd the North Face, which is UTA now, the first time I tried it, at 91 Ks, because I was hypothermic and hadn't eaten anything. I was a shambles. And anyway, you learn the hard way sometimes. So I took another year to actually finish a race that was 100K, and must have been 2015. Yeah, 2015. And here we are in 2024, finally getting into the bloody thing.
Wow.